Hello, my name is Gina, and today, as part of the first blog, I'm going to look at my media influences through a queer theory lens, even though I don't know much about queer theory. Um, but yeah, so some of my media influence, and okay, I for the professor, I did read the article, but I don't have any quotes that are like relevant to what I'm about to say, except that like it's important. Cultural criticism is important, and yes, it has been on the decline. I know that, and also like really good artists and writers, like for example, Bell Hooks, started their career as like, especially some of their first books were like about cultural writing. So yeah, I know it's important, and yeah. Anyways, so my main influences are um Daria. Like most of my influences are very like queer coded icons, especially very like asexual, aromantic icons. Um, Daria, for example, um, the Backyardigans, very queer, very asexual, very aromantic. I love it. Um, Miffy, you know, Miffy is just honestly a non-binary icon. Miffy, it's its own gender. Um, Bibble from the Barbie series, very queer coded, and also its own thing, its own gender. Um, and like all of these characters are super like asexual and aromantic coded, and I just love that. Um, so yes, those are some of my influences, but I will be focusing more on Daria from the show Daria, which I actually didn't get to watch growing up because it ended when I was 2 years old. But I have watched it here and there. And the main premise of Daria is like basically me. It's just this like, um, this femme, this AFAB, who just goes around the world, just like not really understanding, just kind of being an outcast, but not really knowing why. Like, um, yeah, just being an outcast, not really understanding, this like society's obsession with like romance, and also like sexuality, and just being an outcast in that way, and just like the ways like having to navigate that is interesting, especially compared to like how like her friendships navigated, um and Daria does develop romantic crushes on people, like especially one character called Trent, which is like much older than her, which I think speaks more on like the conditioning of like especially like femme people, AFAB people, to like idolize men, like especially older men. So I feel like that is interesting, and also like you can still be like asexual and aromantic and be very much like, you know like have crushes. I don't know if it makes sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know if Daria is aromantic. Maybe she's just asexual. I'm sure she's asexual. I just know. Um, because like Daria is actually based on me, on my life. Anyways, so so yeah, there's that. She does develop crushes, and she actually does date people. And like one of the main criticisms and like that I've heard about like the like queer theory criticisms that I heard around Daria is that she's a lesbian. She's a closeted lesbian. But actually, like I just wanna say that no. I think Daria is asexual. And like for people who forgot about it, asexual people exist. Yeah, I think Daria is 100% asexual, like super asexual, super queer coded, like 100%. Like she literally doesn't care about romanticity, and like throughout the show is basically about her being an outcast and rejecting literally compulsive romance. Although again, like I said, she does fall into it because she does date people, but also like rejecting that like throughout it and being an outcast because of it, um and just kind of like not understanding it and just being an outsider. And anyways, so here's a picture of Daria, my phone. But yeah, this is Daria. And as you can see, even in pictures like this, in high school, she's just kind of like an outcast. She just has like very niche interests. Like she just, I don't know, she just likes to go to school. Like, she's not really interested in romance. She's very like rational. She looks at romance from like a very rational point of view, which is just very like a very like typical like asexual trope, you know, just like romance just not doing it for you. And this is Daria's best friend. um so yeah, this is Daria. But yeah, that's my cultural criticism of Daria. um I didn't talk about Minecraft because I also actually don't know anything about Minecraft, so I'm just talking about Daria.